All right, man. We're live. Episode 31, This Life in Tech. I am Jason.
And I'm the much better looking co-host, Dan.
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe we'll get you some HGH and you can finally grow a beard, you stuffy fuck.
I could grow one. It's the aspect of maintaining it. It's more laziness. Which if I only had something that would automatically just keep it trimmed the exact way that I want it every single time, then I wouldn't have to worry about it. It's more laziness than anything.
Jetson style, man. I mean, well,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we were planning on talking about today is automation, right?
Yeah.
Why do we continue to fill our lives with mundane work that easily could be automated? And when you were talking before we started, I was thinking to myself, I don't know how many people really understand the concept of the automation that's coming. It's not what the Japanese did to the auto industry in the 80s, right? We're not talking about a robot that automates an assembly line. We're talking about life automation.
Yeah. One of the things I had mentioned, so I'm from the DC area, and so to me, I'm going, wow, everyone's shitting all over Elon Musk and Tesla with the failure they had with the self-driving car aspect, and I think they should be praising him for at least being so bold and putting it out there to public to be ridiculed. I mean, here I am from the DC area, and you're out there in LA. If I had to drive into DC for work, I mean, it's an hour and a half one way on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
3 hours round trip, 15 hours a week, times 50 weeks a year.
Right.
How much more productivity could I have back in my life if I could just walk outside, okay, car, take me to work, and I'm off. I could be working while the car's doing whatever it needs to be doing.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a group of students last year about this, specifically around automation of travel, not just cars, but in general, just in a broad way. And overwhelmingly, man, even amongst an educated millennial group, people don't want to give up control. I don't know. I completely don't understand that. When you look, if you look at just the benefit from the time recoup, let alone everything else, right? Let alone everything else, but just the time recoup. Why wouldn't you want more time? Because that's the one thing you can't get. I mean, you're not buying like time in a pill that you can swallow and get 15 minutes back. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is the thing. It's a relatively simple aspect. But if you're having to build a deck and you're going to use screws, do you want to use this to put all your screws in or this?
Right.
One of them is automating the turn of the screw.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I don't need my forearms to look like Popeye, so I'm going to go with this.
Well, I mean, and here's the interesting thing, man. So even if you take an extreme segment of the population that don't interact with electricity on a daily basis, the Amish, they use power tools.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, man. So they have a religious dogma that prohibits them from using electricity, right? And they use power tools. Now, I don't know what loophole they use to get around that, but I can tell you for a fact they do it. They use automated drills, automated hammers, screwdrivers, so forth and so on. And I mean, that electricity is coming from somewhere, but whatever, man.
Well, and that's just kind of the point in this, that we start fearing all of these things have changed. The self-driving car, the Amish, which is a religious aspect, as you mentioned, they're using power tools. Mm-hmm. I mean, why wouldn't we want a self-driving car? Why would we not want something that knew when we were home, especially if we could get to that aspect of true biorhythm type authentication to our homes? It knew the door to open up. We knew which lights needed to come in because it was able to. I didn't have to go over and worry about turning on the light. The coffee pot knew, in this case, because of my behavior, that I want coffee at precisely 175 degrees when I go to pour that first cup.
Right.
So I don't have to put it into the microwave or something like that.
So let me ask you a question, man. To power some of that, would you be willing to implant a chip in yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. As soon as Google comes out with like the Google Eye, I'll take that whole cyborg like approach. Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah, I would too. I would too. Well, and it's going to be necessary. A wearable's not sufficient to capture all the bio data you need for stuff like that. In my opinion, you need something that's actually embedded in the body.
Now, I just won't have it in my right hand or in my forehead, just in case for the number of the beast aspect. So for all the religious people out there.
Jesus Christ.
I just had to throw that out there. I'm not going to put it in one of those two locations.
Right. Like your ball sack's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Just so we know, man, my forehead and my right wrist is not at the top of my do not put here list.
That's fine. We all have to have a locations that we're not willing to put it.
So you know what I've been thinking about for a while, man? We've talked about this before, like over dinner or whatever. Is I don't
and probably a lot of scotch at the same time.
Yeah, probably.
So everyone's clear.
Yeah, probably. I don't think the future of automation is really bounded. I mean, it's pretty endless. What we could potentially achieve. What I tend to think more about recently is what do we do with all the people that really don't have a need to have a job anymore because we can automate that. Do we continue to give people jobs because we need them to do something? Right? We're caught up in this idea of, well, I work hard so everybody else does, or they're bums. Or are we at some point going to be okay with saying, look, here's your minimum income. You don't have a job other than just go be a good human being and come up with cool shit to do.
We have to implement American Works. That's what we'd have to do. Then every American would have a job.
Doing what?
It didn't matter. I mean, I was just, I've been binge watching House of Cards because it was late to the game, right? And just for all those that didn't have that particular what is the right word, pop culture in their life or Netflix, it could be anything, whatever it is to help society at that particular time. Fuck it, you want to have that minimum, not wage, but salary. Here's what income. It costs. Okay, here's your minimum income. This is the city you live in. This is what it costs to basically live there. And you do some task. I don't know what it is. It could be anything. Fucking writing reports. I don't know.
But why wouldn't? All right. So why wouldn't we automate that though? I mean, that's the thing is.
I mean, eventually we might be able to. Reports.
Do we take all these people that no longer have a job and populate Mars with them?
I think I want to go to Mars and we leave them here. I want to be one step closer to getting out of the galaxy, not the people that can't do anything other than the tasks that we've automated for them.
Oh man. Do you think there's a limit to what we can automate?
No.
Well, I don't either.
I think our limit to what we can automate is purely limited at this point to whatever our imagination is limited to.
Yeah. Well, in technology, we have the concept of a universal Turing machine, right? A machine that can become any other machine. What we're really talking about is a universal automation machine.
Yeah.
Right, some abstract automation that can automate any task. And like if you look deep into software-defined networking, that has like some concepts that could build on for that. Where you just have like this blueprint defined, let's say, in a script.
You want to go back? Yeah. Right, I hear you.
The Sultan afraid to make an appearance?
Yeah. He the cat lady doesn't want to be on camera right now.
Jesus.
I don't mind being on camera. I just don't want to ruin your little therapy session.
Yeah, the cat lady doesn't want to be on camera at the moment. That's okay. That's cool. Yeah, they each their own. You know what I mean?
God forbid he have some positive energy in his life and not be.
Hi. Oh, the cat lady just wanted to come by and just say hi, just to kind of disprove that that he wouldn't be on camera. And so everyone knows that is the cat lady that I referred to on Twitter
Meow, motherfucker.
He's kind of like oh shit, what's Apollo Creed, except not anywhere near as athletic as that, but he just has a million different nicknames.
I was thinking more like he's like the crazy ex-girlfriend that you gave the dick once and it was so good she can't stand not having it.
The fuck did he say?
Now the Sultan would like to know what you said, but he would know if he would actually just come on the show.
I
He
didn't
would
get a
know.
fucking invite.
That's a great way, isn't it? I don't
is.
know. I can't send it because you unfollowed me, you fuck.
Yeah, because the invite went out over Twitter, but since you unfollowed him on Twitter,
I did? Oops.
he probably said so. He probably had some automation software that said he doesn't want to follow shamans anymore.
Well, I figured he was just
No, sorry. People who aren't even really a shaman. Just follow the advice of a shaman.
I figured
See,
he just got
he
tired
should
of having
be
some
instead of
positive
doing this, he should be doing this, since he doesn't want to come on the
No,
show.
last time
But,
I bit down, you cried about it.
anyway, but yeah, so getting back to the more important aspect, which is not the cat lady at the moment.
Well said.
I don't think there's any limit to what we can automate.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I don't either. I think we're close to a concept of a universal automation machine. And I don't. By the way, I don't think this requires AI. It may require certain parts of machine learning, but I don't think it requires necessarily artificial intelligence in any way.
All depends on the thing that we're going to automate.
Yeah, well, I mean, automation at its root is just the repetition of tasks, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything that we do repeatedly, by definition, should be able to be automated given sufficient technology.
Mm-hmm. I was in the place where I'm doing some work at the moment. We were doing a DR,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sitting there going through the entire time. Why the hell are all these tasks not automated?
Right.
Software exists that goes, here's how this is going to work. Click a button. I mean, even though some of the stuff is Windows-based, there's plenty of things out there that we could script out in order to, Microsoft has a scripting language that we could easily do all this from. They have the capability.
Yeah.
Why did we spent way too much time that I believe was wasted because of manual. And whenever you do anything manual, there's going to be mistakes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just human nature, right? I mean, you can go on and on about it, but that's just the fact of it. Anytime a human being has to repeat the same activity time and time again. Look at manufacturing. Manufacturing is the perfect example.
Yeah, and it's funny because we bring up that all these people that put out, hey, I'm ISO 9001 certified, blah blah blah. All it really means is that if you said you were going to have 15 parts per million defects, and you were within that 15 parts per million defect, then you're 9001 certified.
Right.
It's just saying whatever defects you're going to have, live up to it.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how culturally we evolve along with automation because, we had a hard time. Go ahead.
Do you think Samsung is ISO 9001 certified after that Note 7?
Dude, they had a big sign up at LAX this week. One of the big road signs, and it said Samsung Nexus 7 banned on all travel.
Yeah.
So it's not within LAX grounds, which is huge. LAX is fucking giant, including its parking lots, right?
Uh-huh.
You can't get on a fucking bus with a Samsung Note 7.
Well, you're not even allowed to buy them anymore here in the US.
Oh yeah, no, they're done.
They're done. It's like I think this was a conspiracy by Russia.
You think so? They don't like the South Koreans. They just like the North Koreans.
Oh well, I think they did because they knew that Americans were going to continue to buy Samsung products, and so this was their way of trying to get everything to blow up. And then they would blame it on Trump.
Well, wait. So why would Russia go to that length to do that when clearly Google's the one with the better motivation?
Who knows?
I mean, they're bringing out the Pixel, right?
Oh yeah. The Pixel looks pretty slick, and they've got I think it's HTC is actually building it for them, but yet they're giving them no love this time. Isn't that great?
That's completely white labeled.
Yeah. And, what's funny is about with the, it's everyone wants to blame Trump for everything at this moment, which I think is just hilarious. Except then Trump blamed it on a 400-pound hacker sitting in their basement.
Yeah.
and I said, well, wait. And I said, Death Star is much more than 400 pounds.
And then like a week or two later, he turned around and said, I don't think there really are hackers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can personally attest that it's not Death Star because that dude can't hack his way out of a wet paper bag.
It's probably true. Probably true.
I mean, ratting on people out of IRC doesn't constitute hacking. In my world, we call that snitching.
What did he say?
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And to quote one of our favorite fighters, where I come from, people like that get slapped.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, man, did you read this latest shit with Conor McGregor? The Nevada Athletic Commission finding $150K.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Fuck you! I'm never fighting in Vegas again. Good luck getting it."
Yeah, exactly. He said, "I got fined more than what all the fighters make."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's 10% of the purse. So I don't know what Nate's I don't know what Nate Diaz's fine is for that.
His hearing was postponed.
Oh, okay. So it'll probably be at least 10% as well. But this is just what's crazy. That fight was the most money-making fight in the history of the UFC, right? So they're why not? Why shouldn't Conor McGregor say, "Fuck you! I'm no longer going to fight in Las Vegas"? That hurts the UFC as well.
And it really hurts Vegas. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Well, so here's the thing, and we'll get back to automation. Typically, athletic commissions will abide by other commissions' rulings. So technically, I mean, the way it works is until he pays that fine, he can't be issued a license to fight, right? So it'll be interesting to see if New York, where he's fighting next soon, honors the Nevada Athletic Commission's ruling, or if they just say, "Hey, you know what? We want a piece of this cheese too."
Okay. Or Conor McGregor just no longer fights inside the United States.
Yeah. I mean, he's always wanted that fight in Croke Park.
Yeah. So, he can do it. And I think the other part is great because everyone, Dana White will say something and then Conor McGregor come out and say the exact opposite. And so far, whatever Conor McGregor is, because he's like, look, he's going to have to choose a belt. He goes, yes, I'm going to choose which one's going on my left shoulder and which one's going on my right shoulder.
Yeah, I love it.
That's my choice. Sometimes it might be the 145 and the other one's going to be the 135. He basically can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Until he is no longer the alpha dog. Period. Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you, kids, if you're good at what you do and you have confidence, you can get shit done.
Look at Jose Aldo. He's not getting anything. Anything. No love whatsoever. The man dominated that division for
10 years.
For 10 years. 10 years. And he has zero respect amongst anybody. Even all these writers, right? So I like to read from MMA Torch quite a bit. And they had this like roundtable type thing, constantly going, is Jose Aldo getting the short end of the stick? And they were kind of like, well, from a fight perspective, but not from a fan interest perspective. He's just not interesting. He doesn't do anything to push the needle.
Right. Well,
someone should automate his PR.
Well, see, and that's a good time because this dude refused to learn English. And look, man, I'm not saying everybody should, but let's be honest. English is the dominant language in the world, especially for business, and it has been for a long time. So if you want to market yourself to the main demographic of the product you're selling, which is English speaking, and you don't care to learn, you don't care to market, you don't care to do PR, I mean, what the fuck do you think is going to happen?
So here's probably, in going along those lines, probably the best example I can give people, and from a different sport. Mariano Rivera is arguably the best closer of all time in baseball. he's at least the top 3. But he's a sure ballot first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. And he is from a Latin country, Spanish-speaking country. And he tells everyone growing up, when they ask him, what should I do? He says, learn English. Yeah. Ichiro Suzuki, right? Ichiro says, learn English. Because that's how you're going to make money. If the fans love you, you will make money. The only way they can love you is to understand you. So whatever market, I mean, if Pride was the #1 fight promotion in the world, then I'd say learn Japanese. But Pride's not.
Right.
So.
Right. I mean, well, it just worked out the way it worked out. The U.S. is the dominant superpower, and for a very long time, English is the primary language of business, revolving around that. Yeah. I don't know how you get away from it. I'm not saying don't learn other languages. It's not an ethnocentric comment. It's just a reality. So if you want to market yourself, you want to sell that product, but you refuse to actually do what's necessary to enable that, I don't know how you're going to make money. And that's why he's forgotten. Jose Aldo's completely forgotten, man. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, and I think Conor McGregor wins again. I don't think there's a guy at 145 that's going to beat him.
Right.
I just don't think so.
PR automation's an interesting thing, man. I don't know how you handle your Twitter, but I have a good bit of mine automated so that twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, I get a report that's automated of who's followed me, who's unfollowed me, mentions and shit like that, man. And I have some pieces automated so that automatic replies go out when people say stuff to me.
Sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's part of having a digital assistant. This collective ecosystem of digital assistants, I guess I should say, because it's not one thing, it's not one entity doing that, and it just all ties together. But man, it's beautiful. I don't have to sit here because again, that's a repetitive task. If you do that by hand, it's the same. Let's say 10 steps every fucking day, twice a day. Well, dude, even if that only takes 5 minutes, I still have a better 10 minutes to spend.
All that time adds up.
Yeah.
In 1 week, you just got back an hour.
Yeah. Hour and a half, depending. Sure.
Right.
And that's substantial. So, I mean, we've talked about this in a prior podcast. We talked about biohacking when I mess around with polyphasic sleep and I'm getting back an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. Dude, that's a part-time job a week almost back in time. Yeah. It's invaluable. It's invaluable.
We know there's nothing we can do to expand the 24-hour clock that we've got in our day.
Right.
Our biological clock is basically to be active right before sunrise and to shut down right after sunset. Mm-hmm. So if you don't do things in order to basically be as active as you possibly can and productive during those time periods, or to do things to change your sleep cycle to where you can be more productive at other times, you're at a disadvantage, and we can automate all of those things. And I think many people don't understand that even the value of your downtime. Like, we've talked about sensory deprivation before. The reason why that's so powerful is because you're going to get out whatever emotions you have been suppressing. That takes a lot of energy to suppress all whatever it is that you're feeling. And we just do this naturally because, hey, we got shit to do.
I really thought that was the lead into I'm coming out comment.
I'm pretty sure he's already let everyone know.
I don't know, man. It just sounded like it. I'm like, I'm here for you, man. I'll give you a hug, bro.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So where I love how this guy doesn't want to be on the show, but he's on the fucking show.
He's kind of like Michelle, who wanted to be the voice in the background because he's not getting on.
Speaking of which, have you heard from that dickhead lately? I have.
Yeah. I talked to him the other day.
Motherfucker. Oh. So this is what I'll close with, man.
All right.
What I'm interested in seeing with automation is, because for the longest, first it was hardware, and it was hardware only on the assembly line. And then it was software, and it's been software automation for the longest time, right? Particularly around enterprise. And now we're getting some of that back channeled into personal life. What I'm interested in seeing over the next 5-10 years is how a new combination of hardware and software called a digital butler, or maid, whatever the fuck you want, can come along and finish off all this personal automation.
Right.
That's what I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, that concept is, I think quite well. I mean, if we go back, however many hundreds of years, where the wealthy had, these manservants, or even back in the world to handmaidens, things like that, we could have a digitalized version of that, and your income status is not a barrier to getting one, because
Right.
we all have the capability now with our mobile devices, at least to have a rudimentary form of task handling for us.
Yeah.
So,
And I think this is a segue to our next topic that I'd like to discuss is virtual reality. And I think VR and the capability of VR is what's going to drive this. Right? If I can put myself into a VR world
right.
and use that abstraction to build the automation pieces, right, for the rest of my life, I think that's a huge pathway forward, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Cool. All right, man.
All right.
That's episode 31 in the can.
Absolutely. And maybe next episode, the Sultan will make an appearance.
No,
I don't let people on the show that aren't Twitter followers.
apparently I can't hack my way out of a paper bag, motherfucker.
He's hurt. His feelings are hurt that you said that.
Sultan smash.
I hear you.
I'm only responsible for my own actions. If he's
This is true.
he has to own that.
Yeah, he does have to own his feelings. I don't know that he can. He may need some more therapy time.
Hey, I was available. All right, everybody. Have a good week. Talk to you guys later. See you.
Episode 31. Bye.
Bye.